Hey, good Sunday morning. It is Labor Day weekend, of course, the unofficial into summer and the last day of August. And it has been a very dry month. We're getting to a point across southern Illinois where we are in desperate need of rainfall. In fact, this is coming in from the Carbondale Airport there out of Southern Illinois Airport. 0.02 inches of rainfall for the month of August. That is the driest August on record for Carbondale. In fact, it is the third driest month ever recorded, not just the month of August, but throughout the year. This is the third driest month ever recorded in Carbondale. And some of those records date all the way back to the early 1900s. So, somewhat historic dry period here for much of southern Illinois. And that is really starting to shape up across the region as you're driving across much of southern Illinois. You may notice the dry grass, the burnt up yards, and of course, even some of the plants starting to wilt just a bit, and even some of the crops also suffering from that. And that really is quite a stark contrast to what we had earlier in the year with all the wet weather. The latest drought monitor coming in now highlighting northern Jackson County, western parts of Franklin County, southwestern parts of Jefferson County. It does include areas like Waltonville, southward into, say, the Mulkeytown area, and then over towards DeCoin and Pinckneyville, Tamaroa, all now labeled in moderate drought. And this abnormally dry period is really the first stage of drought continues to expand across southern Illinois. Just a couple weeks ago, well, much of the area was still out of drought. Now we're pretty much all in it. So quite a change. There are some rain chances here on the horizon. We'll run through some of those here real quickly. But before we really get going, I do want to at least caution you and say, hey, there's no drought busting rain out there showing up. But we will likely see a little bit of wet weather as we head into, say, Monday night and into Tuesday. So there's a little chance there for some showers. Still looks very isolated in nature. Couple of isolated showers also possible Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, mostly a dry day. But then as we look ahead then to Thursday, we will likely see some of the chances, at least, for some wet weather return back into our forecast. That's another cold front, a pretty significant cold front here towards the second half of the week. Expected Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. Once again, though, not everybody's going to see rain from this next chance of wet weather. It is just a small chance, unfortunately. All right, as far as rain probability goes, this is what I'm talking about. Not everybody seeing rain. Notice if you look at the chances of at least a tenth of an inch of rainfall, that only puts us at about 50 to 60% chance across much of southern Illinois and even lower chances across southeast Missouri. So this is not a slam dunk as far as widespread rain, but it's the first chance of rain we've been able to talk about here for quite some time in our region. So it is something to at least maybe cross your fingers that it overperforms or something like that. But right now, it does look like it is going to be fairly hit and miss and fairly scattered. Quick shout out to our sponsor for today's video. That is Kark Mix On-Site Concrete and Concrete Pumping right there in Marion. And of course, you can see with the video here up on the screen, notice not only are they pumping concrete into areas that are hard to get to, but also that mix on site concrete, it saves you money. They mix it right there in the truck, and it saves you money because they will mix it down to exactly what you need. There's not a bunch of waste, and if you need more, they can always mix up more right there on site. So it also saves time. So that is something that's pretty neat, I think. And of course, appreciate them for sponsoring today's video. All right, let's look ahead to this week. Of course, the rain chance is fairly small, but it's going to be another shot of some cooler air heading our way here for the second half of the week. Wanted to show you this. Here we go into Wednesday. There's the first drop of some cooler air southward. That is the first on Wednesday, and then another cold front later in the week reinforces that cooler air, kind of sweeps on through as we head towards the late part of the week and even into next weekend. So there is some substantial cool air. Unfortunately, it's just not going to bring a lot of rain with either one of those cold fronts. Here you go, forecasted high temperatures for this upcoming week. Labor Day on Monday should be a very nice day. I know it can get awfully hot around here for Labor Day weekend, but that's not really been the case this year. Lower 80s for highs. Tuesday, about 80 degrees, and then there's that cold front. Wednesday, a little bump up in temperature ahead of the front. And then Wednesday night into Thursday, look at some of these high temperatures we're talking about later in the week. You're talking about Thursday afternoon, a high temperature in the mid 70s. That's right. We could actually see some morning lows by Friday morning that are back into the 40s once again. We'll bump back a couple of degrees on Friday, but again, some more cool air expected as we head into next weekend. There's the chance for some showers this week. Isolated shower or two on Tuesday. Again, not everybody's going to get wet. And then on Thursday, mainly during the morning hours as that cold front sweeps on through the region, about a 30% chance. So again, overall still fairly low as far as rain chances go. All right, this is a big trough that's going to be dropping south later this week. And you'll see that here, upper level trough dropping southward. There's all the cooler air Thursday and into Friday. And then as we make our way into next weekend, we'll see another shot of some cooler air working its way southward. But I wanted to go out ahead a little bit further because while we're talking about cool air this week, I've already had some folks asking about, well, what's it look like towards the middle of September? And it does look like we're going to see some ridging start to take hold towards, say, around the middle of the month. And as we get into, say, September 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, we could start seeing some warmer air return back into our forecast. Right now, it doesn't look extreme, but it does look like there will be a chance we could see some temperatures once again hitting 90 degrees. So something to keep in mind there as we head towards the middle of September. This week, we were excited to launch the Nick Hausen Weather Store, the nickhausenweather.com. If you go to that website, or if you just look up on the app, you'll see you can buy t-shirts, hoodies, hats, all kinds of stuff. But it's important to note that if you are going to purchase something, your order deadline will be September 30th. Appreciate all of the support. Of course, you can download the free Nick Hausen Weather app on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. We'll cross our fingers for some rain this week. Otherwise, have a great Labor Day holiday and enjoy some of the cooler temperatures.